What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 16, I think.
16.
Is it 16?
I don't know. I just said 16 because you said 16. So I was like, just
shit. I should have actually checked that before I said 16. But we're back with another episode of the Diamond Meridian Bomb Squad. Of course, we are joined by Cottrell ID Faison, aka Dr. Eric Foreman, and of course, Josh Hall, who is playing Dr. James Wilson, and it's your boy Kapil, aka Dr. Gregory House.
Really, Wilson? At least I'm there for the whole series.
You know what's so weird? Every time they say Wilson's disease, there's no mention of Dr. Wilson himself. Like, there's no joke. Like, it's just like Wilson's diseise. And then
Seriously
Wilson's in the room
based on
Wilson.
my physical appearance, you would have chose 13.
Yeah, well, I was bouncing
so
back and
good.
forth between 13 and Cuddy. But then for some reason I went
See,
to Wilson.
I can't get on that Cuddy game. She's like a raw vegan and super weird. Not
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a thing for older.
Oh my
women.
God,
I
Dr. Cuddy. Oh
He's
my
a
God, I
LC,
wanted her
yo, she
so
fine as
bad
hell.
to be in season 8.
If you guys have never seen House, apparently that's what we're all into right now. So,
poor choices in conversations.
Poor-
oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 8
All right,
seasons,
okay.
baby. 8 seasons, no movie.
8 seasons, no movie. Thank God, no movie. Fuck.
Apparently Friends is coming back. I don't know.
Oh shit.
No.
I saw something.
Is it
I don't
Matthew
know.
Perry
I don't
doesn't
know
have
if it was a joke or not. But Will Ferrell posted something or tweeted something yesterday, and I watched it. It was like on YouTube, and it was like a Friends reunion. But like the trailer wasn't really funny. It was like really kind of depressing. I don't know.
Sad, yeah. I'm about to
See-
say, like, it should be like punished, like it's like Metal Gear Solid, like punished Kate or like punished Sandy. So, yeah, they all got eye patches, and they're like, "Oh, so what are you doing?" "I'm still married."
Have you seen a picture of Matthew Perry lately?
He looks
No.
alright. I mean, I know what you're saying, but like in the trailer thing, he looked alright.
He has no
Wait.
chin.
Well, he never had a chin. That's
I know,
messed
it's
up.
terriful.
Well, hey man, he got older. He gained a little weight.
He's a
Come
nice
on,
dude,
come
yeah.
on. Don't hate on him.
Sorry, I watched
Josh,
a
couple years.
I watched the whole 9 yards the other day. I'm like, I wonder what he's up to these days, and I fucking Googled him. I'm like,
Oh.
oh God.
Like, what happened? He kind of looks. He looks like No, I'm not gonna say that. That's rude.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Oh
Nah.
my god, let's just get to the news.
That's so rude.
Oh my gosh.
I love you, Matthew Perry. I'm so fucking sorry.
I like him as a Perry.
I
you're
mildly
a
find
great
him
person.
entertaining. He's
9
not that
yards
great.
and
but-
10 yards. That movie was funny.
God damn.
What was
Holy
that
shit, I
again?
can't believe I was about to
trying
say
to bring
that.
up the notes. Yeah, you're gonna make me edit this so already? Like,
Nah.
But we're not there yet.
At least
We're
it's right in
getting
the
there.
beginning.
We're not
when we
there
already
yet. We're
find.
getting there.
All right.
We're gonna try.
What do we got? So Nintendo, did you guys watch the? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yo.
Labo.
That stuff
Mhm.
was cool, man.
It
Like,
looks interesting,
that
but
was
like
pretty
I don't
So-
know, man.
It's
Okay. It's not for you. It's not for me either.
no, and I'm in the same
It's not
boat.
for any of us.
I know
But
it's
it is a
geared towards
super-
like the younger like parents and engineering kid type
Yeah.
crowd, like build stuff. I get that.
But not just
Yeah.
that, like it's a super smart business plan because it allows them to produce some form of peripheral that they can charge a pretty freaking good price for. And
Yeah.
the cost of production is in the toilet. So like their return on investment is massive. And people love that like build your own at home shit, with all the costuming that goes on these days and all that. People eat that shit up. So this is a super smart move on Nintendo's part.
Yeah.
But did
I
you
agree,
see?
like-
I remember. I don't know. I think it was like 2 or 3 podcasts ago. I had said that Amazon put up a bunch of those SKUs and then took them down immediately,
hmm
and no one knew what they were. I think that's what
Mhm.
these were because
That's
everything
possible,
costs
yeah.
like $50 and more,
hmm
and it's
Okay.
cardboard. That's what worries me. It's like it's cardboard. It's
Wait,
you guys-
like $50? How? Like the whole like just one toy, just one.
yeah. Well, some of them
cardboard
cost
toy?
more than that. Some of them cost like $99.
Why?
I don't know. That's just what the prices are.
Let me see that. Let me see that shit.
I thought it was like $79 for the robot one or something like that.
Yeah, the robot kit costs $79.99. The product line starts at $69.99.
Okay.
Cottrell, that's in that Polygon link I sent you.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Which I guess is I know. I mean, you're basically buying a game because it comes with software for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's what I'm
for
saying. Like,
$79.99,
I gotta, you know what I gotta see? I gotta see the games first. I gotta see
I
what games
do.
they
That's.
play.
I think that's what it is. Like, I honestly, that piano thing kind of looks pretty cool.
Yo,
The
that was
robots
Messing with
look
sick.
it.
neat too.
That was what got me. I was sold on like immediately. I was like, man, if I had kids, like, all right. So this is how I see it. Like, I mean, I was not expecting $60, so that's I gotta look further into this. But
70 is $69.99.
70, good lord. So like, I like the idea, and I think it's really dope. Being able to play, have like this kind of like this toy set, you know, and use the Switch in so many different ways, to just just to have them experiment and play, because like the kids like, um, kids like attention span is so small. I was thinking if it was $20, I could have dropped that,
Yeah, like a
and make it keep
Raspberry
it, keep
Pi
it flat,
kind of
fresh.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, keep it fresh. And this is like that 70 would be like
That's like a
that would be
piece of
detrimental to
equipment
my
that, like,
health. Yeah, like
and it's
he said.
cardboard too.
Well, so the
Yeah.
cardboard it's high quality stuff, and once you assemble it, it's going to be pretty darn durable.
I
Right.
hope so. I mean, kids.
Because it's not just like the box shit that you buy, like, or that you ship stuff in through FedEx or Amazon. Like, it's not that stuff at all.
Right. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, for our listeners who may or may not have any idea what the hell we're talking about, Nintendo Labo. I think it's Labo.
Labo.
Is basically they released. You can get cardboard designs where it has like instructions on the board itself, and you kind of cut and fold and perforate to create a peripheral, if you will. And then we all know Nintendo loves its peripherals. Well, guess what they just did. So anyway, you can kind of just create your own, and there's like a fishing rod, there's a steering wheel for a car game, there's looks like a mini piano, but these are all created by you or your child or whomever, and then you can plug in, I guess, the Switch itself and the Joy-Cons, and like depending on the thing you created, you have to put them in different ways, and you utilize the system in which actually is cool. You utilize the system in a new, unique way that no other system offers. So I'll give them that.
Yeah, like I'm not about that price tag, because my kid would
Just an
fucking
item.
kill me. Like he would kill me with that, like with that whole thing. Like, oh, Dad, the new Labo's out, and I'm like regretting ever showing him this stuff.
Like, we're getting a PlayStation. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, get a PlayStation. Getting in the in the what 3 months, 5, 7 months time, getting a PlayStation would just be a lot cheaper than actually getting the Labo.
Well, I'm wondering, and I'm sure they will, because Nintendo, they're a smart company. Like, are they like? I would like to see it made them work with developers to maybe integrate these things into other games and not make them like a one-trick pony. I know it comes with its own software, but there's got to be a way you'll be able to use some of this stuff.
Yeah, because like
with
all
other
I'm
games.
looking at right now is just like it just shows like oh, this is what what Labo is, and I don't know if it's like one, like, okay, here's the Labo piano. All right, that's gonna be $7 or $70. Cool. All right, now we've got the Labo car game, and that's like another $60, $7, $70, and you're like, holy shit! Like, I'm not playing, like, it's not like he's playing Horizon like Ultimate Edition. He's playing a fucking piano for what could be 10 minutes, and then that's it. So like, if
Exactly.
that's what it is,
How
I'm not
in
about
depth
it.
are these games? Like, are they?
Yeah.
Oh
God, like I'm
Well,
terrified at the idea.
So everything I've seen, the stuff that I saw in the article was shit's not quite that like ridiculously priced. Like most of the kits are not $70. Like I think the robot one's the most expensive one I saw.
Okay.
That we know of so far.
Valid. And I'm sure there will be a variety, as I stutter to no end. But I don't know. I think obviously it'll drive sales. It's not going to hurt them to produce this at all. And I do agree with you. I think it's a waste of money, but it's smart business wise.
Damn cool.
Like,
if I had a kid, this would be like the shit. If it's not $70 a pop.
but see, here's the thing: and here's what makes them super fucking smart on this front. Say you build the normal kit that comes with the software, and then you build replacement kits that don't have the software for less money, because your kit's gonna beat the shit out of this, and it is cardboard, and it will break eventually. That's just repeat business right there, baby.
Oh yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Like these guys are on point from a shady ass business standpoint. They're gonna make some real money with this.
Oh no, for sure. That'll be. I'm surprised. This just seems like an odd time to announce this, because it says coming out in April. Like, you would think something of this magnitude, they would have waited towards a holiday season, or would have already done it.
Trying to get you hyped for it. That's what. No, I'm kidding. I don't know
Well,
why.
no,
they
I
didn't
mean,
do that.
it's like Josh said, it doesn't matter. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when they release it. It's Nintendo, people are gonna buy it. But it just seems like something like this, they would have already done it for like the Christmas, New Year's season, or they would have held off until like the fall, if anything. But they're
Right.
releasing it in Easter, basically, which isn't really a. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a random thought that I had.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I guess they'll do like the way Nintendo does it whenever
Although,
the fuck they
what?
want.
To be honest, now that I think about it, sorry, Katra, I cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead. No, no.
Um,
Actually,
It
that was
actually
it.
comes out after the 1 year anniversary of the Switch, so maybe it isn't the stupidest thing. The Switch came out in March,
Oh.
didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so if they
Yes.
released in April, I guess maybe that's what it is. It's kind of like a.
That was when whatever Zelda came out. It came out. It came
Yeah,
out.
I think it came out in March. That's probably okay. I guess. Whatever. Nintendo Labo. Check it out.
Nintendo
If you
Labo.
have kids, like, you're gonna get it. You got no choice. If you don't have kids, it's probably not for you. But it is a very interesting concept, and if you're into, like, if you just think that kind of stuff is cool, building stuff, there's plenty of other things out there that you can do. Raspberry Pi. I've been meaning to get me one of those. Anyway, guys, I am pumped. Do you know why?
Why?
There's a new Fable game in development.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. No, well, I haven't seen it, but Fables? Is that a rumor or is it confirmed?
It's in the
confirmed.
notes, dog. It's in the notes. Oh,
My bad. My bad.
Dabberity Bob Squad. There you
My
go.
bad.
We
so- For anybody who's played Fable, Fable's a cool thing.
so cool.
Not gonna lie.
Third one wasn't that cool.
Fable was a great concept. Like they did a great service in creating it. I have zero hope for this game.
What? It's developed by. It is developed by Horizon. The Forza Horizon studio.
Which is fine.
seems
Like
kinda weird.
that's
It
still.
seems kind of weird though. They make race games. I don't.
It's just a good. Just think of it in the
if
lines
it
of
looks
a.
as good as Forza Horizon.
Oh
that'd be
shit.
good.
That'd be so good.
But the reason I have hope for it is like the concept of a Fable game is cool, but it's not a new thing anymore. It's not this amazing concept. Like
No, you're
Yeah,
right.
they definitely have to. It was innovative back in the day, but now every RPG has aspects of that.
yeah, and you look at stuff like Skyrim or even was it Kingdoms of Amalur or most of the MMOs or
I'm really bummed
Damn.
that
Kings of Amalur
Right.
died so fast. That
Well,
thing was
yeah.
like,
It
What's
wasn't
up with
the,
Kingdom of
it wasn't the
Amalur?
game that
Oh,
died.
oh.
The game was good. It was the studio went bankrupt, and I don't know why. You guys can look at
I
that.
knew why at some point. I just ejected that information from my brain, so it was kind of a shitty deal, but it was meant to be this huge thing that just
Oh yeah, they
never
got
really came to
professional
fruition.
fantasy writers on that. They had it was this whole thing.
Mhm. And then they were like, oh shit, like, all right, how much money we got left? Oh,
Well, they borrowed all the money from Rhode Island. Anyway, regardless, back to Fable. Josh, what were you saying?
No, that's pretty much the end of the thought. Like it's not a new thing. It's not an interesting concept coming out. Fable has a special place in a lot of us, like our generation of gamers, because it was kind of a groundbreaking thing. But the team working on it's going to be cool. Screenshots have seen look nice. It'll be fun. definitely not going to be something that's going to break the bank for anybody.
I mean, I hope it is though. I hope they really do come up with something, just that really just blows our minds.
I would be totally down. Like I hope I am wrong. Let me clarify. Because that to have something that's always as in depth and thought out as what people promise for Fable games would be sweet. Will it happen? I have questions.
Well, because even to this day, and something that Fable did really well, there's so many games that promise consequences for your actions, but rarely do they actually deliver. They always give you like the illusion of choice, but you don't actually have any choice. Now, recent memories, Divinity, Original Sin, that series, anything you do in that game, that could bite you in the end. Witcher 3, again, one of the few games that actually, like, if you make the wrong decision, that could drastically change the end of the game for you. But still, even Fables, the choice was there. You could have multiple different endings. You could have multiple different interactions. Like, no one's character looked the same, and that was really cool. And I hope they can.
Yeah. Fable had that cool thing of like, actually the one thing that I haven't seen in other games for good reason, that Fable has done is when the choices you make, affect your character pretty much immediately. So,
oh yeah, right in the beginning of the game, like when you play the game, and then like your world starts completely different depending on the decisions you made. It's like, what?
Right.
I just did the tutorial.
So like Fable,
I fucked it up
Fable
already.
2, so Fable 2, my brother was he was a piece of shit. He would rent out houses to people, he would get them a home, and he would raise the prices to astronomical amounts so that they would never be able to pay back. They would just pay with everything they have. And he'd let them make them get kids, make them have kids and shit so that it gets more expensive.
Force them to proliferate.
And Chris, like, he was trying to hit on women at one point while we were playing, and we noticed his teeth were disgusting. Like, they were yellow, broken up inside, because he was corrupt. So he looked like his teeth matched his greed and avarice. Like, he ate too much sugar. Like he got fat off his own greed. And I was like, oh shit, for real? Like, I didn't even notice that. Like, that's so damn cool. Like, your character would like change according to what you did. So like, it's kind of like if you ate too much, you get bigger. If you, barely spend any money, you get like skinnier. If you, if you sacrifice, your lifespan to save someone else's, you turn into an old man with like gray, well, not old man, but you have graying hair. And then if you don't, you look more youthful, but you also have like, like a scar on your face from like the choices you like it's awesome choices. So I think that's what Fable did that made some people like it. I was kind of mixed on that, because like you want to have those kind of cosmetic like stuff happen. Like if you make a character and you're heavily into role playing, you want like your adventure to be, you want to be playing your own adventure. You don't want to play those games where, like, we've all played those games where, 500 years ago the Great War happened, and now this is where the game starts. Like, after all that cool shit happened, you're in the Great War. You are playing, the awesome stuff that's going down right now. There is no history. You're making the history, and that's what Fable does different.
That's but wait, I'm sorry, did I mishear? Did you say you weren't all that pumped on how?
I'm mixed on that whole thing, on like being able, like, making a choice and then
physical
it affecting
appearance
how
gets
your character
altered
looks.
as a reflection of your actions.
But like,
I thought
that's
that was
the cool. Yeah, but that is awesome. Like, it is awesome. I'm just like my brother had no choice on like how good his face looked when he did those shitty things.
Yeah,
but like, that's something like that's right. I'm like, yeah, stop making shit decisions. And it's like, I don't know, like at the end of every Fable game, my character looked exactly the way I wanted him to look, like from the beginning, and then like at the end, like all my story was told on my character's appearance, and I'm like, I was never dissatisfied with that. So honestly, I can't really complain.
Dude, it was
I'm
weird,
just saying, like, I don't know, like it was just weird sometimes.
One of my playthroughs on Fable 1 was, how I had two bars. It had a bar that represented your deeds, and it had a bar that represented your personality. So it was weird. It was like basically I looked evil as fuck. Like I had the horns, I had the black cloud of smoke, the flies, like all that shit, right? Like all of it. Like I smelled like death. I had scars, but because like I forget what it was. Like if either the deeds or the personality, one of them was all the way up to good, so I still had a halo above my head.
Yeah.
It was
Which
like,
one was that? One?
Yeah, it was number one. It was like if you did it right, you could do that. I was like, what the fuck?
One was weird though. One was like, it was like good or bad. Like that's what it was. Like it was like you're either good or you're awful, and you could look good but be bad, or you can be bad.
It's like and that's what it was. Yeah, shitty things. Like I took all the evil decisions in the game, but like I was really nice to people. I had like a really great personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never.
So like, that's kind of what it is. Like so like, Fable 2 I think had the best middle ground for that. Like your appearance changed drastically based on your decisions, which was so cool. And Fable 2 was good. I mean, the ending made no difference. Like there's 3 endings, but you might as well just choose one. And the third one was kind of where I was like, I don't know.
The third one, that was the pirate one, right?
No, you were the queen or
was
king.
That the second one? Was the second one where you had like that, where they introduced the guns and all that?
I think the second one is where they introduced the guns, but I don't remember being a pirate in that game. Like I remember being like a homeless kid, and Teresa, like that scary blind woman, was like
that was your sister in the first game.
Yeah, you had a sister. Yeah, you have a sister and a dog, and Teresa meets with you, and then you guys get screwed, and you don't have any access to your sister. I think your sister dies. Your sister and your dog. Your sister dies or something like that, and then at the end of the game, your dog dies. Your dog gets shot, and
Eagles won, by the way.
Right, you beat the end of the. Oh yeah, I know.
Called it.
You beat the end. You fight. What's her called? You fight what's his face. You fight some bad guy, some bad dude. And then Teresa goes,
classic.
You can
classic bad
some bad dude.
Yeah, some bad dude. And then Teresa kicks you out the tower, and she goes, "You can have what you want, but the spire is mine." And then that's the end of the game. Yeah, and that was haunting.
She does.
Because
kicks you with the
she sure kicks you out. She gives you 3 choices, and then she gets your shit out of it. Oh, shit. And you had 3 choices. It was either
you got me psyched. Like I want to play Fable. I'm about to download that.
Dude, Fable's dope. So you have 3 choices. The first one is you get your sister and your dog back, but everybody that died stays dead.
Mm-hmm. This is all coming back to me.
Yeah, you bring everybody back, but you don't get your sister or your dog back. Then the third choice is you say fuck everybody and you just get a shit ton of money. And you might as well get a shit ton of money because when you get your sister and your dog back, they're like, great, you brought your sister and your dog back. They're on an island somewhere. And you're like, what? Like, you're like, I don't get to see them? Yeah, like I don't get to see them? That's so stupid.
I just said
you
bring everybody back. I didn't tell you where I'd put them.
That's what I'm saying. You bring them back, and if you bring everybody back,
it's crazy.
You just
Fable,
get more
the Lost
NPCs.
Chapters just showed up on my fucking Steam shit when I opened it.
That's because it's all listening to you.
Oh my god. What's up?
What was the Lost Chapters?
It's the remake of the first one.
Oh, okay.
They like remastered it, gave it like whatever else. Yeah.
So two was good. 2 was my favorite one out of the 3. 3 was good, combat wise. I hope they update that combat system because that shit is bare bones. But like is
it only $10?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a great game, but it's been a while.
But then you got
a minute.
Weird.
3 was like 3. I don't feel like any choices directly affected your character. It was like it affected everybody else. And you had a butler, like a guy, not a butler, but like a guy that pretty much like was your, companion. He cares about you. He's like a father to you, and he follows you around. And like your choices kind of affected him. Like he was the window to the people. And there's like a part of a dungeon you go to where he is suffering. Like there's something that happens, like you both go in together and you're trying to like, fight off people and stuff like that, but you guys get ambushed by the main villain of the game, and he gets blinded, like he goes blind, and you're trying to help him. And it's straight up like Ignis from Final Fantasy 15, where you're trying to fight through the game with one of your friends who's like fucked up, and he's blind, and you're trying to show him the way and all that stuff. You're trying to get him to safety, but you're blind yourself, and but he gets permanently blind.
Dude, as soon as you said show me the way, just Knuckles popped in my head.
Yeah, you just look at him. He's like, I can't see, Marion. Can you help me? And she goes, you do not know the way,
dude. I
still haven't seen whatever that is.
I saw a clip yesterday. It was from The Force Awakens when Kylo was fighting Rey, and he's like, "What you need is a teacher. I could show you the way." And then it put Knuckles' face on Rey, and she was like, "You do not know the way." Oh my god, that shit!
Oh my god, so good. Spit upon the fig queen.
Wow, I apparently need to go watch this thing.
Dude,
you really don't have to, but it's silly.
In our Facebook Messenger chat, just scroll up until you see him when he sent me the links, because I responded. I was like, "What the fuck did you just make me watch?"
Uganda Knuckles.
Just Google Uganda Knuckles. It's ridiculous, dude.
Well, don't Google Uganda Knuckles. Just Google. Look at the videos I put up, because there's a lot of like Uganda Knuckles things that are just like racist, not funny things. But the start of it was so random that it became instant gold. Like there's no backstory to it. You don't need to understand like where it came from, how it even works. You don't even need to understand where the Knuckles came from. Like you just need to like look at that, and then you get your fill. Then you're in, and nobody. That's why the meme is so good. Like you don't need to know anything really, other than just watch the video, and then you're in. You're in the club.
I'm so excited to be part of this.
yeah, so excited.
He's like so excited with this.
Next up,
on another side note, I was at the mall, and there was a kid. There was at GameStop or some other place. I was walking around, and some guy had a Sonic and Knuckles doll, and this kid pointed at Sonic and said, "Look, it's Blue Knuckles." This little kid said it's Blue Knuckles, and I'm like,
I would never hit a child.
He saw the meme, but he didn't know what Sonic was beforehand, and I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking awful. That's terrible shit.
Knuckles?
It's Blue Knuckles.
I swear.
I never thought I'd ever hear something like that.
I've never hit a child, and I hope
that'd make me do it.
Will, but that's pushing me right there. That's pushing me.
I'm on the edge, bro. Talk me off.
So what do we got next? In case you didn't know, Philadelphia Eagles just trashed the Vikings. What's up, Josh?
Let's not discuss this. I called that shit. I knew it was going to happen.
To the bowl, baby. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't know. It's going to be the Patriots and the Eagles, and we know, like, what, the refs are on the page. Get your ref jersey, the official jersey of the
that's really bullshit.
Savage.
Well, I mean, the Vikings were never going to go to the Super Bowl, period. I'm from Minnesota, but I knew they were.
Dude, there's a lot of people who didn't think the Eagles were going to win.
Oh, that's fine. The Vikings are a better team. They should have won. I didn't see the game, so I don't know how bullshit the calls were. But just the fact that the Super Bowl is in Minnesota, they would lose a huge amount of revenue.
So Cottrell, the Minnesota Vikings just lost the game that would have put them in the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl is still going to be in their hometown.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, remember when Brazil lost the World Cup in their own country? 7-1? It's like that, but on a smaller scale.
Mm-hmm. I'm a super happy man right now.
So, anyway, moving on.
Death threats.
Did you guys see this? Have you guys been watching The Owl? A.K.A. the Overwatch League?
Nah.
Somewhat.
I don't really
seeing
follow
some
it, to be honest,
interesting
but I
stuff.
think it's really great that esports are like becoming this like huge thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Even though I'm salty as fuck with Overwatch, fucking May.
Oh, why?
When are they gonna nerf this bitch? May.
Who? Which one?
We
May?
talked about
Oh.
it. I think we talked about it in like
I
our
forgot.
first podcast.
They've
right?
nerfed May a while ago, dude. Oh wait, no, I play on console, so I don't see many May players.
Word.
May players
I honestly
kind of
haven't
just
been
get
on
like
Overwatch
destroyed.
in a
But
long time. But there's this thing going on around. If you look at the third link I sent you in the notes, where there's no women in the Overwatch league, and people were like, "Oh, maybe we need an Overwatch women's league." It's like, but women are talking about like, no, like the only reason that they're not in the regular league is because of all the sexism and bullshit, and which they're right. They're right. Like, like I've been on the chat where like as soon as a girl comes in, like all of a sudden the chat seemed like it was real laid back and chill, but then the people you thought were chill are just like really sexist or like really perverted.
Yeah.
Or, like,
Well,
you're like,
so
what?
yeah, and it's not even a sexist. Well, it can be a sexist thing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's not just sexist, but it can be.
But people shift gears. Like some folks that I hung out with in WoW and in the guild, suddenly a female shows up and they
can't
don't know how to
control
handle
themselves. Yeah,
and not from like
I've
a
seen
being
that.
rude standpoint, but they just don't know how to like act. Like they're uncomfortable. Like, have you never been outside of your house? Like, what is this shit?
Like for me, like for us, it's weird because like we've grown up and currently do still play games with women. Like so, like it's never been a thing.
It's not a thing. In my opinion, that should never.
Well,
be
it shouldn't
discussion.
be a thing. But the fact is, it is for some of them, and it sucks that these women, a lot of them, like they say it, like the reason they don't want to go to the league is because they don't want to deal with that shit. I was reading what did it say? One woman here, she's a really well known Overwatch player. Apparently, I don't know. I can't find it in the article right now.
What's her name?
I'm trying to find it, but she said she at one point she actually considered getting a voice modifier, so when she talks, she sounds like a man.
Oh no, completely. I completely agree with that concept because I've seen some of the shit that goes on when you're playing Overwatch. Holy crap, that place is toxic enough, and if you're a female, holy crap, that stuff gets gnarly quick.
Yeah, it's really disappointing because I was just about to ask like why a women's league, but then I'm like, oh yeah, I forget. Like people are terrible when it's not. It's you know what it is? It's really inexcusable. It really is.
Like, but the thing is like, and I don't know because I don't know these people in the league. I would like to think that the quote unquote professionals are just more respectful. Like they don't care. I would like to think that the professionals don't care about that shit. And
have you not seen like from the fighting game community to the esports community? Like there are guys that just.
Well, you guys know more about that community. I'm more of the casual at-home gamer. I don't take games too overtly serious.
So think about it this way: any level of celebrity that people get to, they tend to use the power of their influence to control things, and it could be good. Like it could be like Robert Downey Jr. Using his influence and his face to garner attention towards women's rights or like homeless children or Sarah Susan, I forgot her name.
Sorry, real quick. That girl I mentioned, her Overwatch name is Geguri, Geguri.
Oh yeah, she's badass. Yeah, she's dope.
Yeah, she said she considered buying a program to change the sound of her voice.
I wish she didn't have to go to that length just to play. But like, yeah, that happens. Like I know some people that they play the game, and the moment they say anything, or most of them don't even play with the mic on because they know the moment they say something, it's just someone's gonna be in their fucking face.
Yeah, it's gonna go sideways immediately.
Yeah, like it happens. It's because there's no real consequence. I don't feel like there's anything that. I mean, it's only happening now, right? Like with the Me Too movement, like that this kind of thing is not acceptable anymore, and I think that's great. I just don't know, like, I don't know when we're gonna get to that in games. Because in games, you've got two different sides of the thing. Like you've got people who are like, I don't think women should be in games at all, or I don't think, I
What?
don't think we
Is that
should.
a side?
Yeah, well, that's a thing.
That's
Yeah,
fucking
like
stupid.
like they're
I'm looking for
even look at
ladies
the
in the
way even look
games.
at the way that guys have like try to get their girlfriends into games. Like there are some guys that when they get their girlfriends in the game to video games, they don't introduce them to games like or like a game that they might like, oh, what do you usually do? Oh, I like to play, I play Pokemon Go. So they don't introduce them to Pokemon, the actual Pokemon game. They introduce them to Call of Duty, like, and they're like, I don't know, like if that's their perspective of games, like girls that are just getting into it, they're like, oh, they're not interested. But then there are girls that play, anything, and just like like a normal fucking human being, and people just don't accept that. I don't know. Like I think what the point is I'm trying to say is like it's kind of like my girlfriend at work. Like she works in the tech field, and when she solves everyone's problems, with servers and all that stuff. And I can't tell you how many times, because she's worked at home, I can't tell you how many times there's been a guy that knows just about as much as I do about the work she's doing. And when she explains to them what's the problem, they go, I'm sorry, can I speak to someone else? Like, can I speak to someone that's got like, uh, that knows, more? And she's really good at her job. So like the people that are like behind her or around her
Hashtag
probably
Team
know
Sophia.
less than what she knows. And when they get on the mic, the guy will just regurgitate the same exact thing that she said, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, cool, I get it now." It's even though it's the same thing, just because she's a girl, it's like I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to go back to my boss after this woman told me, what's what, and now I know. But like if I go to my boss and tell him, and he goes, "Oh, who told you?" and I say, "Oh, it was this woman," you know, they're probably not going to take her as seriously. And then if something goes wrong, they're probably going to blame her for something that isn't even her issue or anything to do with her. And it's just the way things are going, like have been going for years now or decades, and it's freaking awful. Like I think it's going to be a very long time before it gets to games. Like when it gets to gaming communities, it's not going to happen. I don't think it's ever going to stop.
Well, and part of that is, so here's the weird, and for folks who don't know history very well or are, because let me clarify, most of us don't even consider the fact that World War II happened and within the last 100 years.
Right.
That's not a concept that's familiar with most people. The fact that that was a thing, that kind of oppression existed. So what I'm saying, why I said that was that if you've ever watched the show Mad Men, for example.
Oh my
yeah.
God, that show is
Crazy
hard. I could
sexist.
never. Yeah.
I mean, it's reflective of the times for sure, but
Yeah.
But that's the thing; it's reflected of the times. Now look at that. Now the way that men treated women in that show and during that time period, that's pretty darn accurate for what was going on back then.
Mm-hmm.
But not only were they disrespectful in their own way, there was also a level of personal respect towards women and people in general. Okay, regardless of how rude they can be, there was a separation there. There was an element of chivalry to a degree. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Like there was.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, like
Face to face
they
with
were
somebody,
like they had their intentions, but like their intentions were there, but like
there was
the
just
kind of
things that you
mindset.
didn't
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Things you didn't say, and a lot of the stuff that's said in like Mad Men is in private and their own personal thoughts, and they wouldn't say that directly to someone because that's your own private stupid mind.
Mm-hmm.
With the onset of the internet, everybody's safe, can say run their mouth like no other. Half the shit people say they would never.
You would never hear them say in real life. Yeah,
Never.
I agree. Totally
And I
agree.
think that's a huge part of why we see a lot more things, because people are willing to share more about their experiences. They're safer to share, and you get to learn and realize, holy shit, this is a horrible thing. But people also share more, and they open their mouth because they're safe. Because honestly, you both know me. Who's gonna run their mouth right at my face?
I know.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, what?
Fuck you. But
I'm fucking,
for our
no,
listeners who don't know me,
no, he's not. He's not at all.
for the
Yeah.
listeners who don't know me,
That's
so
just saying
I'm
that to
I'm a
obey last
businessman.
week, motherfucker. No, I'm kidding.
I conduct myself professionally, but I am 6'7". I look like Opie from Sons of Anarchy, and I'm giant. And half the kids that run their mouth on the internet would not say word one to me in a bar,
Oh no, for
simply
sure.
because I would walk them outside and sit on them.
I walked into a
Right.
bar with Josh so many times. It was the greatest thing ever. I didn't have to say a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Because
Man,
I'm
that's why I
5'5".
That's the thing.
For my listeners who don't know, I'm 5'5". So like I will get bitch slaps. I'm like Kevin Hart. Like, look, we ain't gonna fight. Like, we can talk about it. Like, once we get to the car, you know.
Yeah.
Talk about what happened and how we can prevent it from happening in the
And
future.
I'm like Cat Williams. I'll run my mouth and I'll catch the hands real quick.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
a
the
witness.
conversations are
That's what I'm
good.
a witness.
But
I'll
I
record
guess
that.
getting away from us running our mouths, which we do a lot. It's
Uh-huh.
I seriously devote a lot of the knowledge, the issues, and the solutions to the trade of information in our age. It's changing the dynamic amongst all of us, and whether that comes to games, politics, people, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if Twitter didn't exist, holy crap,
Oh
what
my
would this world
Oh
god.
be
my
like?
God.
If
It would be a
Twitter,
whole
Yeah.
different
if it
mindset.
didn't exist,
Could you
Jesus.
imagine that?
I
Like,
really can't.
I really can't right now. It's hard. It's
so
hard.
that's
But I
what
feel like we're
hurts me, because
sidetracking
well,
pretty
so
hard
I'm
here.
circling
No, I
around
mean,
now.
well, the whole point we're getting at is like, like the things that would not go down, like if this was happening. Like
Yep.
if you see in like, oh my God, how do I explain it? So like, if things were on camera all the time, like if you were always being watched, or you were always like you had specific people in the room, like if there was a a moral code to
Compass,
things,
even.
a compass. Yeah, like if I don't even think of it, I don't know, I'm not. I mean, I guess education has a part of it, is a huge part of it.
I don't
Like
even think
me
it's
growing
education,
up,
it's upbringing.
I don't know,
It's
like
where you
me
grew
growing
up.
up, I just knew that it wasn't right.
Yeah.
Like there have been, times where like I might have been uncomfortable around women, starting out, because I didn't really talk to women, but I just, saying something just because your friends will probably laugh at with you about it negatively, when saying it negatively to somebody else who can hear it or like experience it or something like that, and not having an actual conversation with them, keeping your distance and staying in your own your own hole. That's what the internet is doing. Like it gives you that ability to stay in your little corner, say what you feel, and have nothing touch you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no
a
And
consequences.
consequence-free environment,
yeah,
and
no
that's
consequences. Like people being able to say things to like anybody they feel like, um, you know, over like on Twitter, and they like, if I don't know, like I always wonder why nobody ever asks. Like I used to think, like, ask myself, why do celebrities not just ask the guy, what's your name? How do we sit down and talk about it? Like let's talk about what you feel. Oh, you don't like that I'm in this movie? Let me, because I'm a girl, or I'm a dark skinned version of, the character that you like in your comic books. Why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about it? And I'm just like, why the hell would they do that? Why can't they just, you know, not be that way? And it's because they are reinforced with the mindset that they can say, like, I'm like the first time they said it, said something awful about, a woman, or was sexist to a girl or something like that. I remember it used to be like, oh, just make me a sandwich or something like that, right? And then like the more times that they did not get smacked upside the head for saying that, the more times they felt, oh, you know what, this is all right. And then that person you meet in real life doesn't say anything. I've met someone online that was calling me all these racial slurs, all these things. There was a website called Gaia Online, and they said like these awful things to me. Like they wanted me to trade a katana. So there was a guy who traded a katana, this really special item. It was like a cool looking item, for 1 0 less than what he intended. I bought it, and the guy wanted it back, and I was thinking about it, but I was like, nah. But he said, but after weeks, he was like, I want it back with interest, and he started getting other friends to harass me on that shit. And one day I was at school I'm talking to people, and I all have guy online accounts, and we were like, I found out, and we're all hanging out and stuff. And I shit you not, like, I could not believe it happened. But like, one of the guys, I asked him, what's your username? And he tells me the username that's actually one of the people that were harassing me. And then I calmly tell him my name, and he was going to shit himself. Like, he just didn't expect me to be the guy that he has been harassing. And his behavior was vastly different from his behavior online. And the more you stay online, the crazier you get. Like, the crazier you start talking. Like, you're comfortable. Like, I stay away from Facebook half the time because the amount of things people say in the comment section is just so ballsy. And then when you meet them in real life, like, they're not like that at all.
Oh yeah. And
we just need it. We need to change.
And it's a series of it's a variety between, and I think it's upbringing is what it really breaks down to, and moral values and code. That's just not a thing that you see very often anymore. And
you don't need to have it. That's not even about moral code. It's just like you don't need it because there's no consequence. Like, there's really no consequence from having. Remember when YouTube used to put up, it used to read its comments, your comment to you when you said something. Like, if you said something idiotic or anything for that matter,
I've never commented on
YouTube used to read it back to you. Like, YouTube used to read it back to you if you said something. So you feel like, oh, this game is shite. I do not care, about games like this. YouTube would start reading it back to you, and massive amounts of people started complaining and hated that about YouTube, and they tried to get rid of it. It's oh my god, like, it's a kind of a clique mentality. Like, people on Facebook don't like people on YouTube. People on YouTube don't like people from Reddit.
The
and
Reddit.
like people start to get like
allegiance
in this clique mentality
bullshit.
And like try to develop the personality of the social network that they are pocket of social network that they're involved in, like, just to feel some sense of like security / community. It's obnoxious. Like, people, the more you stay locked into that area, the less you start to see how reality really works. And that's kind of why men just treat women like shit online. I mean, when you see it on TV, like, when a girl says no on TV, to a guy trying to ask her out, what does the guy do? He doesn't just say, oh, all right, sorry, listen, I was really forward. I really wish I didn't do that. I think I'm gonna like just go out and talk to my friends about it. And then the next segment of that show, he's talking to his friends about how he approached that girl, and he said, dude, why the fuck did you like try to give her a drink, and then when she said no, you called her a bitch? He's like, I don't know, I got upset, like, that didn't happen. What happens is the guy goes, come on, girl. Like, he tries harder. And then what eventually happens to the girl in that show? She caves in. And like, that kind of thing happens so often in TV, or like happens in video games, happens in like everything, that you think that way.
Well, and that's a whole nother conversation. We're getting off track because that leads down the road of how either society has trained men and women to handle each other. Like, that goes down a huge rabbit hole. So
yes, I do want to kind of wind back to the game.
I'm a passionate motherfucker. I'm sorry.
It's good.
Dude, I'll keep going, but we gotta. Yeah,
it's good.
Sorry.
There's a lot of people that feel the same way. Look, we all
just treat everybody like a normal human being. Stop being a dick. That's really what the world needs to be.
Long story short, it's going to be a very long time before like shit gets fixed.
No, for sure.
That realm.
But that being said, I think that brings us to the squad stories, where we just talk about what the fuck's been going on. So because I know Josh finally saw the top of the mountain. So before we get to that, because I know he wants to go hard, I just want to bring up, the DBZ Fighters beta. That shit was awesome. I caught the hands like horribly. I had flashbacks. It was like PTSD. But it was cool. Like did you play it? Did you guys play it?
I played a little bit. I played a very small amount.
I played I'm not as serious into fighting games as you and the rest of the community, but I've played most of the fighting games. You know, I played Mortal Kombat and Marvel vs. Capcom and fucking Tekken and Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur and fucking all the Injustice. Like, I've played a lot of them.
All right.
And I can tell you by saying just the little time that I played with DBZ or Dragon Ball Fighters, I don't think I've ever felt... What's up?
You were in love. Like,
dude, I don't think I've ever felt that powerful in a fight. Like, I felt like it didn't matter who. Even when I was playing this Krillin, dog, I was like, I'm a badass. Like, like if you watched the show, like it was like fucking watching the show. It was so fucking cool. I was like,
it's interesting. It doesn't. Dragon Ball Z Fighter doesn't really try to make you, get into those crazy sick combos in order to do things. Like, all right, Guilty Gear, the guys who made Guilty Gear, it's the same guys who made Dragon Ball Z. Guilty Gear, you got to do these crazy combos, like high heavy, low, low heavy,
cool
then dust, just to do those things. And then Dragon Ball Z is like, no, X is your lights, and if you hit the light button more than once, you're going to be doing different moves instead of doing the same like light jab. Like, you press light jab 3 times. You do like one is a right hook, the second one is an elbow to the to the stomach, the third one is you like punching them in the forehead. Like, it's a combo, and you get to see that. You get that visual.
And you don't gotta do that many and the combos to get like the crazy ass Kamehamehas and like all their fucking cool ass scenes. They're not that difficult to pull off. Like, you can do some pretty cool shit and feel really badass without having invested like being like fucking Corey.
Hours.
Like, have to beat Corey Beagle in this fucking game. That's right,
yeah.
Corey.
So,
I don't know
like, you can still be a badass. You just don't have to, like, because it's, even though, like, I said, it's easier because you can use just lights and stuff like that. But, like, you still have to use lights, and your moves still lead to combos. Like, you still need to like throw the person up in the air, jump jump after him,
it's
hit
still
him
a very
with a key
technical
blast, always
game,
be close,
it's
very technical.
It's cool because it's really open to, it's like you said, like other games, like when you just hit the light button 3 times, you just do the same jab, but like this one you actually do different moves, and which is really cool for like me and like if my friends come over and we want to play a fighting game. It's like none of us are going to be really that good, but it's still going to look good, and it's still going to be really fun to play. And I think
to summarize what you're both trying to say for our listeners, because you guys keep saying light punch, heavy punch, it's easy to learn, hard to master, and that's something that the fighting community has been waiting for a while. Is a game that can still swing hard enough on a competitive level to be part of the esports world, but also be an entertaining program, because the dichotomy there is. So you've got Street Fighter, which is kind of the de facto standard, and then which everybody can pick up and just punch and do some cool shit. It's fun. But then you go play Tekken, and it's the most convoluted bag of bullshit you'll ever even touch.
Holy shit! Tekken is a game I want to be good at, and I will never be.
Yeah, dude, Kazua's whole family. Such dicks,
and on top of that, they add the nice. So the only other game that I ever felt powerful and like super strong in were the Naruto fighting games. They just put that right on top of all.
You never played Ninja Storms?
Oh, they're so good,
dude. They look gorgeous.
I never watched the Naruto franchise either, so.
Okay, that's fine. It's kind of garbage, but like the game is sick.
The game's
like
on point.
Oh my god.
Point being, DBZ is a great game, and I think they're doing it right. Also, I can send you the link. We can add it if people want to watch it. But they pioneered a bunch of new technology with DBZ. With how they built their shader model to get that.
I was gonna say, it looks like I haven't seen anything like that
straight out of the fucking
I've seen cell shading, but this shit looks.
It's not cell shading at all. It's a whole different ball of wax. What they literally did is they have the shaders themselves change, and the normal the polygons that make up the characters, the normal faces change based on the camera angle that you're looking at, and it's individually lit. Yes.
Yeah.
It's individually lit based on the camera that's viewing the character at that moment.
Yep. Have you not seen Guilty Gear Revelator? Like
I didn't play Guilty Gear.
Okay, but you've seen it, right?
I've seen Guilty Gear. I know.
And you see how gorgeous it looks. Remember have you seen the first trailer where like Kai and Soul are talking and then they attack each other and the whole camera spins around 360 degrees to show you that like this is not hand drawn, that this is actually 3D.
I'm gonna be honest with
And then
you.
you saw like the rest of the game.
So,
Oh,
and that's
man.
good stuff, but they went a whole different direction. They went
Yeah, no,
way
I'm saying
farther,
it's the same company, the same guys
Yeah,
who did
same
Dragon
company.
Ball Z.
Yep.
They did Guilty Gear.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
okay.
want so badly for Guilty Gear to do the same thing with the way their game plays, but I don't think they're going to do that because Guilty Gear has already embedded itself in the way the controls work.
Mhm.
That I'm not sure if they're going to do the same thing.
I
And
also
that's gonna be a
think these
shame.
guys are going to have their hands full because this game, as in the great words of Cottrell, this game's fire.
This game is. Oh man!
Game's
Oh,
fire,
and
bro.
a cool thing about this game, and I don't know if the Naruto games do it, but it has cool things for fans of the anime. If you grew up watching it, if you play certain characters in certain stages against each other, then you get to see iconic cutscenes from the show. Like if you play Goku against Frieza on wherever they were fighting Namek, it'll show you
Namek,
those
yeah.
cutscenes. Gohan versus Cell, it'll show you Gohan going
Father,
Super
son,
Saiyan 2.
Kamehameha, yeah.
It'll show all of those scenes if you play them with the right characters in the right stages, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, they did such a good job, and I've been following the development on this for a while.
Yeah.
Largely because I've got a guy that I work with. He's my technical guy. He's my rigger for the
Rigger.
I clarify that statement.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I'm not gonna say it.
I did it.
To
I don't care.
clarify that
Okay,
statement
alright.
for our viewers, a rigger or a technical artist is one that builds the bones in a character. And weights
Yes.
those bones to make the character move. So he's the technical guy on my team. He's a huge fighter nut. We're talking frame counting Street Fighter competitive player, and I get an earful about fighting games all the time. So I started following it when he's following it, and I get all the updates.
That is so good. Oh, he must have been like loving
he
those
is on it.
how pretty Dragon Ball Z looked, or like when Guilty Gear was first announced. He must have been like, this is glorious.
Oh yeah,
This-
he's all
Oh,
about
yes.
that shit.
I love this. I love all this.
Yeah,
man.
and on top of that, like he's the one that dug up the videos, so I have all the technical videos and how they did it. They have a GDC talk about it, and I can get those links and we can connect them to this audio. So
The
Man,
amount of
awesome.
love that they put into this is just so
It's
good.
great.
Like
I'm
It
so
is.
bummed, dude. It comes out the same day as Monster Hunter, which pisses me off.
yeah, that's not gonna happen then. Sorry.
I'm not getting it. I'm getting.
No,
I'm
I'm
Shadow
getting
Colossus.
Monster Hunter, but like I wish it was like just like a month apart, or
Yeah.
because I can't drop on the same day.
Because I'm already gonna get Shadow of the Colossus. I freaking love that. So like I can't turn that down. With my favorite childhood games. And then what else is coming out? Oh yeah, Monster Hunter. Forget that. I'm not.
That game.
I'm going to be on that 24/7.
Over the course of our conversation, I've decided not to buy it. Yeah,
What?
I'm full of shit.
What?
I'm full
Hold
of
up.
shit. I'm
Right
completely
before we
full
get
of
to
shit.
that, though.
There you go.
I'm so full of shit. Don't.
Right before we get to that though, man, I was fucking with the Metagear
Oh, yeah.
Survive beta. I don't know what I played. It's very weird. I couldn't actually figure out how to build a base. So there's that, because that's like the main aspect of the game. The game doesn't really tell you how to do anything. There's no tutorial mode or anything. Maybe there will be in the final game, but like in the beta, it doesn't really tell you too much. And Cottrell, you played it, right?
I played a little bit.
All right, Josh, you didn't, right?
Nope. No intention
Dude,
of
so
ever
they
playing
have
it.
this thing. When you started the game, most games give you a fucking, a normal ass start screen, right? It gives you an options menu, or you could go in and manage inventory, all that shit, or there's an in-game menu, whatever.
Yeah.
This game, when you started off, imagine Assassin's Creed. You know the Assassin's Creed loading screen?
Yeah.
You know how
You
you can
can
just like
run around.
fucking run around? Imagine there's no start screen, like that's just what it is. They just put you in this quote unquote, it's not a loading screen, but it kind of feels like the Assassin's Creed thing. And then there's like little holographic circles that you go into. And then once you go into them, like you can craft shit, or you go to another one, you can manage your inventory or go to another one and do other shit. And then there's like big ass like fucking what do you like? I don't know, displays in front of you where it shows you all the options. It's like this
Oh,
whole
like yeah,
needless.
okay. No, it looks like
Fucking,
it sounds yeah. It was like a lot like I don't know. It kind of it really assumes that you've played Metal Gear Solid 5, which almost feels like an insult because
no,
I
I
love
played
Metal
Metal
Gear
Gear
Solid
Solid
5.
5, but that shit wasn't in
No,
Metal
I
Gear
know, but
Solid
people
5.
I know, but people yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people are just when you play this game, it just feels like God, I don't know how to describe it. I just don't feel like they gave a shit. Like the whole idea of Metal Gear Solid feels like it doesn't give a shit. You know, like it just
Or survive. Or
you
survive.
yeah, like I'm sorry, survive. Like it doesn't feel like they give a shit. Like it's based in the world of Metal Gear Solid, but it has nothing to do with Metal Gear Solid. It's not even the same genre. It's a zombie,
Horde
horde
survival
game, and
fucking
then
thing.
yeah, and like as much as I like the idea of playing a survival game or a co-op game with like say my brother or something like that in like Metal Gear, I don't like this.
Well,
Like
it's weird
it
because
doesn't feel like it's
like
supposed to.
so
It
it
doesn't feel like
plays
it's
like
supposed to
Metal
exist.
Gear, which is to its credit, like because they basically it's the same fucking game. You know, they just took Metal Gear
It's the
Solid
same
5 and they
engine.
made it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it still plays like Metal Gear. So if you come in fresh off Metal Gear, the controls are all the fucking same. But the problem is this like I was playing it and like these zombie horde mode games like they require like you to be like really quick and it's really fast paced. But the controls for Metal Gear aren't for that type of game because Metal
Would you
Gear.
say that this is the Dark Souls of zombie horde games?
No, I wouldn't at all. At all. Stop it. Stop it with that shit. But it's like the Metal Gear Solid controls are more for a tactical, slower, more methodical type game. And obviously there's firefights and crazy shit can't happen, but overall you're not making twitch movements and shit. But in this game, like they got zombies and shit coming at you from all angles, and you got to like focus on multiple things at once, and I just feel like it doesn't mesh very
Well,
well.
that sounds yeah. Well, okay. So like yeah, that's I see what you mean. Like it's Metal Gear Solid. It's a stealth game combat system put into a zombie horde
Yeah, it's
genre,
not. There's no like there is
and
some
that's
stealth
bizarre shit.
elements to the game, but basically it leads up to where you have to defend against waves. Like up until you get to that defense point, yeah, you can roam around and collect shit and whatever, and that's
Right.
cool. But up until that, but then when it gets to the we got to defend shit, and then it's no longer stealth, but you're still using I don't know. It's weird. It's a
I
weird.
know what you're saying. I know what you're
It's
saying.
not
It's
bad.
like
It's just weird. Like it's just not Metal Gear. It does like they could have made the same game Konami, but just not use the Metal Gear name is what you could have done.
I think I'm not. I don't know for sure, but it feels like they use that. They used the Metal Gear name so that people would actually play it. And then they changed the genre so that they can make it a zombie horde game so that people can play it together. Like it feels like it's solely the whole purpose of this game's existence is just money. Like it doesn't feel like there was an idea behind it. And maybe Kojima, I don't know. I need to look it up, but maybe Kojima worked on that before he left. But I'm pretty sure the last game he worked on with Konami was Metal Gear Solid 5, and then possibly Silent Hills before it got canceled by Konami because of their beef with Kojima. It just feels like this game has like doesn't have like good intentions. It just feels like, hey, do we have that engine lying around? Oh, the Fox engine? Yeah. Can we make a game out of it that isn't Metal Gear Solid 5 because we're not the writers of that shit? Oh, yeah, let's do that. What should we do? Let's do something basic instead of like a third person shooter because we'd be competing with Titanfall and other first person shooters. Let's just make a zombie horde game because we haven't had that in a while. That's what it feels like. I don't know. Did I did I leave this chat somehow? I don't know. If
No,
I
I'm
left
still
it.
here.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what I mean, Josh? Oh,
Yeah,
did
yeah.
Sophia left to take a piss?
Did he? Oh, yeah, he probably wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the constant like drive to find new sources of whether it be income or populace. Because I mean, some of the zombie sim stuff did well. What is it? The Call of Duty versions of it, or
Oh yeah,
shit like
the
that.
Nazi zombie shits. Yeah,
Yeah, some of that
for
stuff
some
is
reason it
entertaining.
did
People
well.
like it. I don't give a crap about it, but
Yeah,
I also play EVE Online, so I don't count.
yeah, yeah. You do. You judge yourself so fucking harshly. Yeah, it's
Well,
just
I
like
mean,
every. I mean, I don't know if you've known about it, but every time Konami handled anything Metal Gear related, they never gave it any kind of real respect. Like you know about the game Snake Eater,
yeah, yeah,
Metal Gear Solid 3. Okay, so they turned Metal Snake Eater into a pachinko machine game, like a while
really?
back. Yeah, like that's every time Konami handles anything, Metal Gear Solid related, that's what they do. They make stuff like this, and that's what Metal Gear Solid Survive feels like, at least right now. I mean, I'll definitely try to understand it. I'll do my research and all that stuff, but so far, that's what it feels like to me.
Hmm, that's sad.
It really is like but Konami's had like occasionally they have a history of being just terrible people, and I'm not gonna act like
Oh,
Kojima didn't have like they both had their pettiness with each other, and they've both done things to each other, but at the same time, I don't know, like I don't know why Metal Gear Solid is still alive when Kojima, the guy who created it, is not around anymore.
it's
It
their
doesn't make
cash
sense.
cow, man, and it's a
Yeah.
stupid experience. Like,
God damn it.
yeah, no, I get it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
No,
you're
you're,
fine. We were just bitching. So, Josh, please,
oh,
I'd love to.
oh,
Oh, he's seen the top of the mountain.
oh,
He's
yes.
seen the
Josh has
mountain.
finally played Monster Hunter, y'all.
I,
Yes. Yes, he has.
the light has been seen. So let me start this off with I'm Friday night. It's already out. I forgot about it. Like, and I'm sitting on my couch. My girlfriend was working or something. She's on the food truck that night, and I'm chilling. And I'm like, well, let's install this shit. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. I might as well like look at it before I just say yes, because I pretty much just nodded my head at both of you and hadn't
Yeah.
touched it.
Word.
I saw the Elder Dragon video. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna go look up the character modelers for that team because I don't- like the game looks neat, but I care more about the artwork.
No, for sure.
So
Nothing
I
wrong with that.
install it and I play it Saturday night for about. I get through the first mission, the solo, and I'm like, eh. I
Yeah.
was thinking to
Well,
myself like,
he was fucking garbage though.
But he's meant to be the intro.
oh, it wasn't about the monster. No. Just the game as a whole. It felt like
Right, right.
at first, as I'm going through this, it feels like this like updated version of Phantasy Star with like trees and
Oh,
vines.
yeah. Man, I
And
missed that game.
I know, hence my uh, what is it? My little icon for everything is from Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
Um, so I get through. I'm like, man, whatever, fuck this. So Sunday rolls around, and I'm like, let's go try this again. And I get Nicole Gorney, friend of ours, on with me, and start playing. And my God, I could not stop. I started looking through gear and weapons and like how to do combos and what to hunt, and I didn't even know you could eat at those little tables. And by the way, whoever
Oh
modeled and
yeah.
put together that
Oh my god, doesn't that food look
that
good?
is wrong. The photogrammetry involved there is disgusting because I want to know whose grandma they commissioned to make that shit. 360-degree photos of it and scan that shit into the game because that's exactly what happened.
God, it looks so
Um,
damn good. Yeah.
so like we started getting into that and playing with the different weapons. We're fighting, we're doing good. It's like, oh, it's kind of hard, it's kind of cool, and we get to that Elder Dragon.
What the
And this
Nergigante?
Nergigante. Nergigante.
fucking porcupine asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wolverine.
he proceeds for 4.5 hours to push my shit in. Like I had the and we'd get close. We would always get super close, but most of the time people are too stupid, or they don't know how to dodge things, or I'm real dumb, and I'm playing with all these different things, and then I'm trying different weapons. You know, the gun lance is amazing. I love that shit. A bunch of other
Yeah,
stuff.
shit's fun.
And then I pick up the horn, the war
Oh my
horn.
god. Yes.
I remember
Yes.
this from my first foray into Monster Hunter years and years and years. And I'm like, it's cool. Let's go do something else.
Yeah.
But now we got so close once I started using that war horn. I don't know how influential the buffs are, but they seem to be pretty
They're
damn
pretty good.
because
They're pretty good.
it seemed to make a significant difference. We got him down. We almost killed this motherfucker like 4 different times, and that's what kept us going. Is we got so fucking close, and a lot of those times would have been kills if I knew a bunch more information about the game, but I had just walked in blindly and started swinging. So yeah, I think I've got the bug hard and from my understanding, it's going to be a much larger world than those self-contained little 10-minute things that we got going on in the beta.
Yeah, you usually
Correct.
get 50 minutes. Yeah, you get 50
Okay.
minutes for a mission.
But those are
They're just
missions.
trying
Like
to
it's
make it
still an
harder.
open world you can do, right? Like you
Oh
just
yeah, I
go off
forget.
and do
Yeah, I
the
don't
open
forget
world.
it. I forgot it's not instances anymore. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that alone is a big deal for me, and I think if I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna be that dude playing the Warhorn, and I hope it's a rare thing. I hope I am a sought after commodity because nobody else is gonna want to do it.
He's
It
the
is.
healer,
It is.
baby.
So the hunting horn has an interesting relationship. Like most people who play the hunting horn have a really interesting relationship with it. Like I used to play hunting horn, but I wasn't very supportive. I just loved walloping the monster, playing music to buff me with exclusive buffs. I mean, there are buffs that everybody else could get as a result because every hunting horn has its own abilities. But for the most part, I kind of fought with myself. But if you do that, yeah, you're going to be valuable because you can increase people's maximum health. You can give them defense boosts. You can actually, if you time it right, some monsters are sensitive to sound. You can actually time your moves right, and you can actually blast them out of the ground that they're hiding underneath to send them flying. There's
And
a
I guess
Diablo.
also like
That thing with the
it
two
being a
horns?
hammer does a ton of
Yes.
damage to a head, and you can knock shit out too. And
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's so versatile and it's so silly and fun. Like, have you looked at the designs for the in the older games?
Yeah.
Like, my favorite one was the Giant's Koto. There's you can have a hunting horn that looks like a giant koto, the Japanese 3-stringed instrument.
Yeah.
And you can just beat the shit
I've seen that one.
out of whatever. That is my favorite hunting horn, and like the designs for these weapons, are so good. Just like the hunting horn, you're gonna be fine. Like most people you'll see online, I would say dual blades. Off the top of my head, charge blade, maybe a lance, and then
the dual blades
the
are
occasional gunner.
Dude, I was playing yesterday. I watched a video of this dude taking down Nergigante solo in 13 minutes, and he used the light bow gun. So obviously, I was like, "Guess I'll fucks with the light bow gun." And honestly, it's kind of cool. Like I've never.
It's definitely dope.
Like
yeah,
I never used it before, but like, dude, like you can just pop shit in the ground at for explosives, and when it comes near, they fucking blow.
Yeah.
I was like, what? You
Did
just
you do the
stand
sniper position thing yet? There's a move where you get down prone, and you fire a nasty one shot murder bullet.
It was cool, man, because even solo, about fucking 10 minutes, and this guy was much better than me, obviously, so he did it. I think he literally did it in 5 minutes, but I think it took me 12 minutes in. I finally busted off the Nergigante's horns by myself. I was like, oh, well, that's farther than I got with the squad, to be honest. I was like, shit. It was cool. No, it was fun.
But we're killing that asshole.
What's up?
Not tonight, we're killing that asshole.
All right.
Yeah, we are.
But then, other than that, dude, the other Monster Hunter, I only played 2 other Monster Hunter games, and not very much. It was Monster Hunter 4, I think I played. That's the one with where you start off with like fucking Shai Halud, right? You're in the same.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
ship.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so I
remember
played
that
a little
one,
bit of
yeah.
Monster Hunter 4, and then I've been fucking around with Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. But a new weapon in this game is the Switch Axe. And,
No,
Yeah, that
not.
thing's gnarly.
You
yeah.
mean the fourth one or this game, the current Monster Hunter
Is it? Oh,
that's
is it
coming
in the
out?
fourth one? Was it in the fourth one?
Yeah,
The Switch Axe, the
it's
sword
first.
axe
The
thing.
Switch Axe's first appearance was was in Monster Hunter Tri for the Wii, the one that I played in college.
3, or it's try different.
Yeah, yeah, the one that was
Switch
exclusive to
Axe
the
isn't
Wii.
in there.
The Switch Axe is in there. Yeah, the
Huh?
Charge Blade is the one you're thinking of.
That's the one that turns
one
into
that-
a big
The
axe, right?
mechanized giant axe. Yeah, that's with the sword and
Is that
shield.
what I'm thinking of?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the one
No,
you're
that's not
thinking
the
of.
one I'm thinking
that
of.
is complicated.
The
as
one that
hell.
you take out and then you slap the person in the face with it, and then explosions happen all over their face. The ones that you
Huge
can use
stuff.
to like you use ammo and then you buff your shield or you buff your sword.
Yeah, you
No,
gotta
I
like wind
think
it
I'm
up
just-
and
I
stuff.
think
It's
I'm just-
pretty
You're thinking
complex.
charge. You're thinking
No, I think I'm
Switch
just
Axe.
stupid.
Yeah.
No, I know the Charge Axe you're talking about, but that's not. No, I'm thinking about the Switch Axe.
You're talking about the Switch Axe. Yeah.
I'm literally talking about I'm straight up talking about the Switch Axe. Was that in Try? That's not in
That
Try.
was a try, bro. Yeah.
It's in 4. God damn, I never fucked with it. I gotta
Yeah.
start up Monster Hunter right now.
It
Oh
was
no,
a
we're
try,
gonna play
bro.
World. But
Yeah.
we are playing World. So I know we're releasing this. So if you guys want to see Monster Hunter World, you'll also be able to watch that. We're gonna be like squad and fucking try to do this thing.
But so back to the weapons. Like the other thing that
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
entertaining with, so I really
glaive
started
is
to
tight,
enjoy
too.
the gun lance. That seemed cool,
Yeah.
but you're really slow.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my god, I bet
just-
you'd
I
love
don't-
that
I
shit.
can't get the
You're
hang of the
totally good gun
lances.
lance user.
I was also digging that new insect.
The insect
Feather
glaive.
Oh, the insect glaive.
That was in
I-
4.
That was in 4.
Yeah,
That was
It
the
seemed-
flagship weapon in 4.
They switched how it works. From my understanding, like it's a different kind of dashing mechanic than before, and it seems
Yeah.
really cool. But half the time you miss or you're flying through the air, and you just don't feel like you're doing a shit ton. So I don't know. It's a mixed
Yeah.
bag.
Well, you really have to know how to use your Kinsect in tandem with it. To
Yeah,
get,
oh,
to
yeah,
be
for
good
sure.
With it. Because that
Yes.
makes all the difference. And then that also has like buffs to it because you can switch out your Kinsect. Which
Yep.
that's
Yes,
it's a pretty
yes,
technical
I
weapon.
forgot about
I'm not
that.
real
Yeah,
good with
it's
it.
really technical.
But it's fun to play
Yeah.
because I feel like Darth Maul.
Yes, that's true. Can't pass that up.
But I like that
But-
Switch Axe, man. Like you just fucking charge that shit up, and then like you just at the end of the one combo, you just do a shitload of explosions. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
that's
God.
what
Yeah.
Courtney's playing. She's digging that.
The one where you jump, you after the combo, you finish your combo and then you jump on the thing's back, and then, or no, actually, wherever you stab, you
Oh
attach to
yeah,
the
there is
creature,
that combo.
and then
I,
you just gun gun gun
I
gun
like
gun
did
gun,
it by
and you just
accident. I didn't realize that there was a combo that automatically like puts you in the air. I was like, oh shit, word.
yeah, and then you're on the monster's face or tail or wherever, and you blast it off. Like, oh my god, that shit! I was crazy. I'm just a greatsword fight. I usually play just greatsword.
Oh, the jawbone.
But,
that shit is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
I
there's
just
different
love-
ones, but in the demo, they just had the jawbone.
Oh yeah, there's a Rooster Teeth did a video where they made an actual the greatsword from the demo. They made it. Like, and it's only 15
nice.
pounds, but it looks just like the weapon
Was
in
that
real life.
Rooster
It's
Teeth?
so
I
damn
thought that
cool.
was a different set of folk.
Yeah, I think it's them, but they're called like the Gentleman and Apprentice or like Master and
Yeah,
Apprentice.
that's
or
what I
something like that.
saw.
That's
Like
it.
Master and
Oh,
Apprentice.
Josh.
Yeah, they're hosted by Rooster Teeth. I was looking for their page, and I was like, ah, shit, Rooster Teeth. No offense to Rooster Teeth. I just, yeah.
The thing about the
I just
insect
love
glaive is when you're on the monster's back, not every weapon does it. But like you know how you can move from the head to the back to the tail when you're
Yeah.
on it?
Yes,
Well,
you can
if
jump
you have
around.
the
Yeah.
insect glaive, when you're moving, you're automatically spinning the glaive and doing damage while moving, while some of the other weapons you just move to the spot and then you have to continue to do damage. So you can
Oh.
fucking do attacking with the insect glaive while you're on the back the entire time and not lose momentum at all.
Damn.
Well, as long as you have the stamina for it, because it does.
Well,
take
yeah,
stamina.
as long as you have the stamina for it. But like, I'm just saying, when you move and you have the insect glaive equipped, you actually can still attack that entire time. Whereas
Yeah.
some of the other weapons, you actually have to. Your character moves into position.
That's pretty damn dope, man.
Yeah, it was. I was watching a bunch of stuff last night on
My boy
like
Keen took a
how.
real liking to the insect glaive. He's all about that shit.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh
You
yeah.
were a jumpy motherfucker, that's for sure.
My brother used to play. It's not available anymore, but he would play as the palicos, the cats.
You
Hmm.
can play as a
That would
pelican.
be Generations, the most recent one for the 3DS. That one you can play as a cat. He plays a cat, and I mean I mean it's kind of, you can kick ass as a cat. It just takes a lot of like skill. So like I ended up carrying a lot when we played together.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
like his ass would blow on like a herb horn. Like you can like blow on horns, or like like a bard of sorts. But like
Josh
in
is
the
a
beginning,
bard. My man.
Yeah, again.
an appropriate bard though, an appropriate one, because this one was like you know how you have the herb, that there's a, you know how you have a potion and then
I
a
saw
mega
you got
potion
that
available to
fire
you.
Hmm.
herb in
Yep.
there. What? What?
Yeah, fire. Like, he couldn't.
I
He
gotta get it. I need to get one. I need to get a
yeah, you
sound
do.
thing for that
You
next
really do
time.
need that.
I need that shit.
He would have like the lower form of the potion called a herb, and he would use the herborn. And I would get like an inch of health. Like if I took damage, I wouldn't even get back the damage. You know how your health is red a little bit? Like
Mhm.
you'll have like a part of your health that'll be red, that if over time let it go, it'll heal on its own. He wouldn't even get that finished. He would just like, I would just kind of like get like some power, and I'm like, all right, thanks.
Thanks, bro.
He's just like spitting on that horn while I'm getting my ass beat. And that was pretty much every time we played in Generations. But but he's had a long history of getting like trashed in Monster. The first time we played, he fought against the
To his
Diablos. Like,
credit, though, it is not the friendliest of
it is
games.
not a friendly game. I remember playing on the Wii, and you couldn't communicate through through voice chat. You can only communicate through through keyboard. So like I remember him trying to like play, and he's using the hammer, and the hammer combo, and like you're swinging at the ground, and you swing and grab the ground again, and then you do a home run swing.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know the
Mhm.
Diablos could dig underground. It's that creature that comes out of the ground when you're making too much noise underneath it when
Oh
you're
yeah, did
fighting
you
the
see that one,
bears.
Josh?
What? No,
The
no.
Diablos, the dual horned
Yep.
bull thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he was fighting against that, and he didn't know that it can dig underground and then go under you and then like come flying up. So like I'm seeing him from a distance, and we're not chatting, so I don't hear his voice, but I see him like trying to swing at this thing, and then it goes under the ground. He runs over to like the where it buried itself, and he's just swinging the hammer at the floor. And then this thing comes out of the ground, and he's flying in the air, kicking. Like his character's kicking, trying to grasp the ground. He just lands on his neck, and he's paralyzed. Like he's done. He dies right there. Like he lands on the ground. He rolls
Just
over.
lands on his
He just
neck.
doesn't get up. He just doesn't get up. He faints, and I'm done. I'm crying, and I just see him type a message that it was so cruel, because you can't even type a full sentence in Monster Hunter, because the speech limit is like very short. So I just see him say, if you say anything.
Oh man.
And I'm
That's
like,
funny.
I'm so sorry. God, he got dominated in that game, and so I think that like all that punishment just made him go straight up. I just think he went straight up.
Monster Hunter's definitely
Monica.
going to be for a niche audience for sure. Even though this is going to be the most, Western friendly version of the game.
Yeah, definitely Western friendly. Shit, Monster Hunter friendly, bro. Like, you know how many
Yeah.
things that were so tedious to do in that game that got and it was just fixed.
Well,
Like-
yeah, and I see a lot of variety here and a lot of, I don't need an open world thing, but being constrained in tiny spaces like the old school ones. Like, I'm glad they're expanding a little.
Yeah, like now you don't have to
Yeah.
load in between each area.
Yeah.
It's like you literally
actually
fight for like
playing,
2 minutes in one area, and the monster's like, nah, fuck it, go.
Oh yeah, you lose, then
You're
you
like,
gotta
oh,
load
are you
up.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually playing one of the recent Monster Hunter games right now, called Monster Hunter Stories. It's like Monster Hunter's take on Pokemon, and it's fun as hell. But there are areas,
Like, do you
and
capture monsters?
you know,
I'm very confused.
yeah. So like you fight alongside monsters. So you'll
That's
capture a
kinda
monster.
sweet, because
It is,
these
dude. It's
monsters
really
will whoop
fun.
the shit out of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pikachu
So you're
will be like,
fighting,
no, fuck this.
I don't know. Some of these monsters are fucking gods. Like some of them can, like there's some monsters that can like wreck a whole city block,
Yeah.
like with its strength. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think a monster can do that.
I don't know.
Like usually
I mean,
the big ones do
if
that.
we're really gonna get into it, let's look at some of these Pokemon. Some of these Pokemon are fucking ridiculous. I've seen legendary Pokemon.
Didn't we have a conversation about the Pokemon names last week? Let's not go down
we
that
did.
path.
We did. You were
yes.
about the
We
keychain.
did.
The
We
keychain.
did the
motherfucker.
keychain.
Oh,
You will
man.
never let that die.
Also, apparently more
Like,
people
nah.
have joined on for the Pikachu movie
Pikachu
that's
movie?
right. There is a Pikachu movie coming out.
with
isn't there?
Ryan Reynolds in it as Pikachu.
Ryan Reynolds doesn't give a fuck anymore. He's like, yo, I got Blake Lively. I got children with her. I'm Deadpool. Like, I did it. I fucking did it. Like,
wait. Pokemon movie, a Pikachu movie. What the fuck?
And I think part of it is the only person who would do it is
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Hey,
Why? Wait, Pikachu? Like Ash's Pikachu?
Ryan Reynolds will play Pikachu
Yeah.
in a live. No, he's not even in the movie. He's playing Pikachu. I need to stop. This is
Going to be amazing.
Wait. Is this some live action thing?
live
Apparently, I
action
don't know.
Pokemon movie. Ken Watanabe joins Ryan Reynolds for a live action
Ken Watanabe? What
Yes!
the fuck?
Oh, and it's Detective Pikachu. It's Detective Pikachu.
Oh, he's playing detective. Is it the game?
No, this is a movie for Detective Pikachu, and Ryan Reynolds is playing Detective Pikachu? That makes it so much better after watching that trailer. Now I'm just imagining Ryan Reynolds doing all that shit. Like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
That trailer alone is probably why he's doing it.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
that's probably why he was like, "Oh, this sounds fantastic."
This is gonna be awful and hilarious.
Ryan
I'm in.
Reynolds, but you know the thing is with Ryan Reynolds is like he's actually his movies are really hit or miss. Like, did you guys see R.I.P.D.? That was pretty bad.
The
Yeah,
proposal.
that was pre. let's just chalk
I didn't
that
really
up
like
to
the Bodyguard
paycheck.
either, but
I
that's
like
his
the Bodyguard, but
You like it?
wasn't. I was expecting dog shit, so that's my.
I
standard
like
was pretty
Selma Hayek. Thank God she was in that movie. Whew.
Oh shit!
I hear she's batshit crazy, but that's
Dog,
it. Don't
obviously.
matter, I guess.
Look at her.
Is she?
Yeah.
I forgot where that was from. If
Dude,
you,
her
you
in The
gotta-
Bodyguard, I bet she wasn't even acting. I bet that's just her.
Your dreams are simple but beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Even so.
I like Ross
it's
Swanson. I
just-
like pretty dark-haired women in breakfast food.
Pretty dark-haired women and breakfast.
I remember that line. That was great. Oh my god.
Man. Oh, but back to Monster Hunter. Can we just take a moment and just appreciate how gorgeous of a game it is?
I like it. They did a very good job. The whole thing was put together pretty well. I have my qualms with some of their design choices and their character modeling and shaders, but again, I don't know what engine it's running in, and they use a lot of
Proprietary,
speed.
if I had to guess.
Well, so yes and no, because they use Speed Tree and the Havoc engines in it, and they do a bunch of weird shit. So,
You mean the programs themselves?
yep. They use the Havoc engine, or not engine, the Havoc physics engine.
The physics engine.
Speed
yeah.
Tree's in there.
What's Speed Tree? Is that just for
Speed
multiple-
Tree is
Oh
for
man, Speed Tree
generating
is
foliage.
everything. Yeah, Speed Tree is like, yo, you need trees, bruh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got
I mean,
you,
that's
fam.
what it
Like,
sounds like. Yeah,
It's really
so-
nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
get a
It's a
tree
plug-in
really
for
fast.
Unreal and shit. It's really good.
Mhm.
We used it, but it's really pretty. I really enjoy it. They did a good job, and I think maybe I'm hinging on a specific thing right now, and I'm just gonna have to let it ride and see how the game turns out. But
Uh-huh.
the person who hands you that platter of food She bugs the shit out of me.
Oh, oh god, I forgot her name. The handler.
Yeah,
Every Monster Hunter game has a person that gives you their quests, and they're like kind of like the one fan servicey, cute girl, cute over the counter girl that'll like help you out and be pretty much like your teammate throughout the games. My
Something
favorite
about
one
the
was the
lighting.
bookie.
Something about the
yeah.
lighting is too off.
Yeah, her expressions are kind of like.
Well, the lighting like
Hey.
makes her nose morph midway through, and it's just this really weird design decision. And it's just a personal pet peeve.
You're looking at a game that like right before this one had like tack on like facial, face. Like I don't think anyone made faces actually in the game. Like everyone.
No,
didn't
this
even
one
have
is like the first one that's supposed to be like. Yeah. A cinematic, whatever they're calling it.
Well, Monster Hunter 4 was the cinematic one, but like this one was very much like this is the first time they've ever done any kind of like I don't know character expression and all that stuff. It's just why their animations were so exaggerate because that was the way they were able to like show off emotion or range of like expression. Like the way your run changes when you're running away from a monster versus when you're facing it.
I love that. I love that run. The oh shit run.
The oh.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, the oh. Oh no.
Because you always run towards a monster like a boss, but you always run away like oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Yeah, you're like oh. No.
That failed.
Not me.
Oh man.
That ain't me.
I think we can wrap this up.
Yes.
I forgot to say it last week. Guess what, everybody? We have a YouTube channel.
We do what?
I will put it in the link below or in the description below the podcast so you guys can follow that. Because YouTube has changed their rules. You now need 100 subscribers in order to get a custom YouTube URL. So I wasn't able to make one. So it's just like a random string of characters at the end of the youtube.com.
Man, you are so angry about that.
Well, yeah, because you never had to do that before. No, and the worst part was I made the YouTube channel back in, like, when we made the first podcast, because we had planned on streaming a bunch of shit, and we just never got around to it. So, if I would have just made the custom URL back then, it wouldn't have been a problem. They literally just did it, like, recently.
Oh, yeah.
I should have just did it back then, and I just didn't even think about it.
Well, it wasn't a thought that there would be a problem. It seems like a strange thing. It's like preventative name holding for websites.
It's
like an odd.
Anyway, I'll put the link in the podcast description. Like I said, also we are gonna take a quick break here, and then we are gonna start streaming Monster Hunter. I know it doesn't matter for you guys because this is you just can just do whatever, but I'm just mean for us. We're gonna stream some Monster Hunter. Hopefully, we can take down the Nergigante. That'd be cool. If you guys are thinking about getting it, let us know. If you got anything wrong or you have just any commentary or whatever, just shoot us an email like you can anytime. dbsquadpod@gmail.com. Also, I don't know what the status is on the podcast next week, but I can assure you the week following we'll at least have a video or two up that you can watch of us playing either Monster Hunter or maybe For Honor or something like that. So until the next time, follow the YouTube, check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/dbsquadpod, and yeah, take it easy, guys.
See you later.
Peace.